finally rereading the second story that won as well from the vote we did earlier. That is now, completed now. We're reading Not Crazy to Me, Slasher's Ex Nurse Listener up in here. Now, a person did request this, and I did mention it in the community before anyone says anything. Yes, I did mention them, and if you even check my Wattpad and you check my list, it clearly says it. But yeah, someone has suggested I put in a vote, and it also went along with another one as well, which was this one, but we've already read this one, so we're just gonna go ahead and go on to this one. So yay! Anyways, let's read who the hell he is. A broke, unemployed girl with a nursing degree who just can't seem to find a job until she finds an ad in the paper for an insane asylum. The job is a simple caretaker, so it's not exactly the height of what she could do, but it paid surprisingly well, and offered a place to stay on nights where she was too tired for the 2-hour drive between the asylum and her apartment. It was too good to pass up, or at least it seemed like it was, until she found out about the patients. Ooh, spooky. Okay. Okay, let's get into it. So, characters that are going to be in here is Mikael Myers, Danny Dead Olsen Johnson, the Ghostface, Jason Voorhees, Brams. I said his name so wrong. So sorry. Norman Bates, Hannibal. It's Cannibal. And then Thomas, Bubba, Vincent, and then Bo. And then they might add on characters like Leslie. Oh my god, my name, but spelled wrong. Freddy the asshat, Carrie, Billy, and then Harry. For Harry, they said maybe. So yeah, those are all the characters that most of them will be added, and maybe except one, maybe, just maybe. Like I don't know, maybe. All right, prologue. Despite the sun, high and mighty in a bright blue sky, the forest around you is dark and unnerving, making you tense up. Goosebumps rippling across your skin. You tap a tune on your steering wheel, having lost the radio stations 30 minutes ago. You should be at your destination shortly. You were headed to the Roswell Asylum. The job wasn't I just skipped a whole freaking sentence. Having seen an ad for a job there in the paper. The job wasn't as high ranked as you wanted since you had a master's degree in nursing, but it paid well and offered a room to stay in for the nights you weren't willing to take the 2-hour drive home. Your legs ached after being cramped in the car for so long, and you couldn't wait to get out and stretch them. You've been giving your nurse scrubs, a dark purple t-shirt and matching pants. After your interview when they hired you then and there, claiming they were horribly understaffed, you'd wanted to ask how, since the job paid so well, but they ushered you out before you could. At last, you spotted a flicker of white through the trees, the road curving to the right and revealing a big sign that read, Roswell Asylum and Penitentiary. You rode the road a few more minutes before the actual building came into sight. It was smaller than you thought, with high walls and bars on every window. Security cameras shifting back and forth on a pivot. Lights shone from the spotlights on the walls, and you waited at the tall chain-link gate to pass through the fence. You pulled up beside a speaker, the red light above it flashing on and signaling it was okay to speak. Hello, I'm Miss Ellen, here for the new caretaker job? You call through your window as you roll it down, craning your neck to spot the man sitting inside a small booth up ahead, the man who controls the gate. You flash him a warm smile, in which he returns, motioning for you to come and park beside the window, to be given your special access card. You do just that. Your window rolled down all the way now. Good day, Miss Helen. It's nice to see a new face around here for once. He smiles, running a hand through his dark, you burn hair. His green eyes were filled with a new life, a sort of excitement in this dull place. It's good to meet you, too. You can call me Wyatt. You smile, holding out a hand out of your window for him to shake. He leans out from his own booth window, taking it in a gentle grip. I'm William Marsh. Roswell hasn't hired anyone new for a few months now. Slim pickings around here. No one seems to want a job in the loony bin. William chuckles lightly at his words, pulling his arms back inside and pulling an envelope from the counter beside him. This is your key card. It should get you anywhere where you need to go, Will said, leaning back out of the window to hand you the envelope. It was surprisingly heavy and jingled when it shook, telling you that there was also a set of keys or something of the sort. Again, it's nice to meet you. William nodded, still smiling, and clicking a button to open the gate. The gates peel open with a low rumble, and you ease on the gas pedal once they opened all the way. Now that you were past the gate, you could see the building better. The gray brick walls formed 2 floors with few windows, thick, sturdy metal mesh bars crisscrossing each one. With each window came a camera with a bright LED light. The front doors of the building were surprisingly glass, though they held the same mesh as the windows. You parked your car in the lot between 2 others, stepping out and stretching your legs with satisfaction. You shut your car, locking the door behind you, purse and envelope in hand. Turning towards the building, bushes lined the space between the brick walls and the sidewalk with small wildflowers blooming within them. Despite the very prison-like feeling the place had, it was generally pleasant, the forest around you and the fresh air only making it better. You reach the glass doors and push them open with confidence. Inside the building, it's surprisingly well lit with a white tile floor and light gray walls. A receptionist's desk directly parallel to the doors with sofas on either side and thick metal doors to accompany them. The woman behind the receptionist's desk has blonde hair and glasses perched upon her nose. Her blue eyes flicked from her computer to you, and she smiled tightly. Wyatt Ellen, I'm guessing, she says, fixing her glasses more securely. You can go ahead right through there. Go straight and take your 3rd left. That's where your head nurse stays. She'll show you the works. With those words, the receptionist goes back to her work without telling her name. You spot a name tag on her purple shirt reading Charlie McKay. You dismiss her dismissive attitude, laugh at your ironic joke, and head towards the doors to Charlie's right, the one she pointed to. There's a little black box mounted on the wall to the left of the big metal door with a red light. You know it's a scanner for your access card, and you flip it open you flip open the envelope to pull out yours. It's shiny and new, a pale gray with yellow stripe on the left side. A base level access card for places like the activity rooms and the main doors. It couldn't open any cells, you guessed. That was probably the head nurse's job. You flipped it across the surface of the box and the light turned green. The doors unlocking with a click. They're heavy as you push them open. Stepping into a hall on the other side, you see hallways branching off further down and set off. Each door on the walls beside you have little windows. Most of the rooms inside were empty with their lights out unoccupied. The last one to the right, just before you turned, looks lived in. Bright white LED lights on overhead, but you can see it's still empty. You stop for a moment to peer inside through the small window to examine the paper on the desk in the far right corner. They're covered in sketches and writing you can't quite make out from such a distance. Miss Helen? A voice catches you off guard and you whip your head around to face it, smiling and chuckling awkwardly as you spot who you can only assume to be the head nurse. She's wearing the same purple scrubs as you with a little star pin on her breast pocket. To the direct right of her name tag reading Melanie Crotus. She had brown hair, graying at the roots, the fawn color matching well with the friendly dark caramel of her eyes. She wore a friendly and exhausted smile as she approached, extending a hand. I'm Dr. Crotus, the head nurse. It's a pleasure to be working with you. She smiles as you take her hand, shaking it. It's nice to meet you too. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm excited to be working here. Melanie smiles at your sincerity, a flicker of worry flashing across her face. You may change your mind once you meet your patients. She mumbles nervously, separating your hands in order to sort of coax people into coming in for interviews and work. Our employers are indirect about what the full job is. Bichos. Oh my goodness. We are in for a ride. Melanie folds her hands in front of herself as you tilt your head, your quirked eyebrow telling her to continue. Rosebell deals with very specific criminals, serial killers or mass murderers in particular. Melanie winces, seeming to wait for your outburst of rage or fear or both. When you let your eyebrow return to normal, righting your head and slashing a smile, Dr. Crotus is almost shocked. That's no problem. Work is work. You were more scared than you let on, but you kind of expected it. Before coming in for the interview, you did some decent research, and though the press kept the whole psycho-criminal thing under wraps, you knew something was hidden and had braced yourself for the worst. Like something paranormal. Serial killers and mass murderers were alright. You knew they'd be safe to be around and that the asylum would keep them under control. Wow. Just like, wow. Melanie seemed lost for words, but then her smile returns. I'm glad, really. It's been a long time since we've been gifted such a bright young spirit, willing to work. She mentions for you to follow her, turning on her heel and heading down the third hallway. Oh my goodness, towards her office. It was a door just like the ones on the cells, but blatantly thinner and less secure. The window adorned by the words Melanie Crotus, head nurse, in bold black lettering. She pulled her keycard from the pocket of her pants, a thin chain holding it there, as she scanned it on a box to the left of the door and put it back in its place. She pushed the door open and let you inside, first with an outstretched arm. Please, take a seat, she says as she shuts the door behind you. The room opens up into a small office, a door to the back right leading into what you assume to be sleeping quarters. In the left corner, a desk sits diagonally across with a big rolling chair behind it and two comfy enough stools in front. A grand dark red shag carpet accents the brown wooden walls and dark gray hardwood floor. A bookshelf on the right. It was much more grand than the rest of the building that you've seen so far. You take a seat on one of the stools as Melanie slips in behind the desk, folding her arms on the desktop. I'll assume Mr. Marsh had already delivered your keys and access card, Melanie asked, as you pull the envelope from its place and tucked it under your arm. You open it up and take out the keys, and 2 key cards, one being a spare, to set them on the desk. Now, the keys will be for utility rooms. Dr. Crotus begins, picking up one of your keys to show off each one. This one. She holds up a silver key with a red end. All the keys being color-coded. Opens the activity rooms, where the patients are brought for crafts or hobbies and stuff alike. She holds up a green key next. This is for cafeterium. Melanie continues to cycle through the keys. Blue for the nurse's utilities, purple for your room, orange for the patient's utilities, and yellow for the study rooms on the second floor. Melanie also swiftly explained your key card, how it opens most doors in basic hallways and stairwells, as well as operating the elevators. So, what exactly are my duties? I was told a little bit at the interview, but not in depth as I'd like. You asked, placing your keys on the loop of your hip, key card in the back of pocket, and spare in your purse. You'll mainly be transporting your patients to and from utility centers, like the cafeteria or the showers, into the activity rooms or the study rooms if they have scheduled meetings. Her explanation was short, but you were sure that you'd be walked through it when the time came, so you didn't ask any other questions. Our patients haven't been treated with the utmost care recently, since their last caretaker quit, so they might be a little hostile. This other caretaker was close to some of them, so I'm afraid it might be a little difficult to break through their shells. They see you as a replacement, so it might take a while to befriend them. I'm up for a challenge. For the challenge, you nod, smiling. Good, good. I'll show you to your room. In an hour, we can go and meet your patients. Melanie stands and you follow her actions as she slips around the desk and heads towards the door. She moves across the hall, one room to the right. Your name, Wyatt Ellen, is printed in big letters just like Melanie's. The name caretaker underneath it. You pull out your key, grabbing the purple one and unlocking the door, pushing it open. There should be more scrubs in the drawers along with some basic sleepwear and toiletries too. Sadly, the caretakers aren't given personal bathrooms. You are free to use the nurse's utilities. It's in the immediate right once exiting the reception room, and then a straight shot to the last door on the right. I'm telling you, these directions would fuck me up so bad. Oh my goodness. I'm stuck with people just telling me directions. They're like, just show me there. just show me there. Melanie points down the hall, flicking her finger to the right as she gives you loose directions. Thank you, Melanie. I'll see you in an hour then. You smile and Melanie returns it. You turn to shut the door, but Melanie stops you with a hand on your wrist. I'm really glad someone as passionate as you have been hired. There are a lot of bad people in the world who don't treat these broken souls properly. Her happy smile falters into a sad frown when you return. I'll do my best to give them the happiest lives possible. You nod, determination in your voice making Melanie smile return. Thank you, she says, releasing you and stepping backwards. I'll see you in an hour. You shut your door, turning to your new room. The walls are gray, the floor a brown hardwood. In the back right was a small cot with two pillows and a gray comforter. To its left, a desk with a simple office chair. Behind that, against the wall to the left of the door, was a dresser. A garbage can in the right corner closest to the door, and a simple gray shag carpet on the floor. It was dull and boring, but it looked comfy. You opened the drawers one at a time. In the top, unscented shampoo and conditioner, a few white towels, some spare underwear, a hairbrush, a comb, and a few under Miss Blah items. In the second, 3 more purple shirts and 3 more pairs of purple pants. They really prepared for this thing. I'd be living here. The bottom held a simple white button-up sleep top, as well as a gray and black version of the same top with matching bottoms. The gray and white with pants and the black with shorts. You also spot a pair of black slides tucked underneath the dresser beside a pair of basic slippers. You step back, setting your purse on the desk and running your fingers over the smooth wooden tabletop. There's a journal settled on top, and flipping it over, you see it's empty with a pencil sitting next to it, its side ready to be written in. You weren't sure what it was for, but you would probably use it to document your days here. You'd always wanted to start a journal. You turn to face the bed, sitting down on it. It creaks ever so slightly on old springs, and you pull the heavy, soft blankets back. The sheet underneath is nice and soft too. The pillows are fluffy. They were really pampering you. Not knowing what else to do, you stand once more and set your blankets back, heading towards your purse to unpack a few things you'd brought. You pull out your phone, setting it in the drawer with the purple scrubs, a book you'd brought being put on the desk, your spare car key card, goes in the sleepwear drawer underneath it all in a sort of way to hide it. You also have some random things like lip balm, a pouch of makeup essentials, and a phone charger tangled with a set of headphones. You busied yourself at the desk untangling the cords. Then you stuck your nose in your book. You lost track of time as the characters did their protagonist things, waiting for a knock on the door. Though you'd been waiting for it, it still startled you when it came, followed by Mulaney's voice. "YN, the patients are all prepped to meet you." Oh my goodness, I'm excited. We're about to meet our patients. Yes! Alright, y'all, so I did say I was going to make a 30-minute video, but it might go up to 40 minutes, so, Lord me. Anyways, now we're in officially Chapter 1, Meeting the Patients, Part 1. YN, the patients are all prepped to meet you. At the sound of Mulaney's voice, you dropped your book, hurrying to the door. You almost forgot your keys and your access card on the dresser, doubling it back to grab them just before you open the door. When you do open the door, you smile at Mulaney. "Sorry for the wait," you apologize. "I'm excited." A quick glance at the clock shows that it's 3 o'clock. 3:12 to be exact. We have a good 3 hours before dinner call, when the patients are escorted to the cafeteria. Why do they call it that? Just call it cafeteria. So we have more than enough time to meet them one by one. Mulaney begins with a smile at your enthusiasm, then settles into an efficient walk down the hall towards the shelves. Now, Mr. Bates is in cell 8, just returned from an extended outdoor time, so I would like to let him settle in for a while first. So Mulaney turns the corner to continue on away from the direction of the receptionist desk. We'll start in the heavy duty ward. They're the most dangerous patients, the strongest ones, but the violent one of the two already has guards ready and waiting. What's their name? You ask, settling into your own brisk pace to keep up with Dr. Crotus. You have to promise not to be scared or anything like that. Mulaney chuckled, nervously tucking her brown hair behind her ears. Not a chance, you promised with a determined nod, watching the cell numbers escalate as you step closer and closer to the furthest cell. All right then. Mulaney hesitates once more, and then, with a deep breath, It's Mikael Audrey Myers, a serial murderer local to Haddonfield, she says, expecting some shriek or outburst from you. Wow. You breathe, stars in your eyes. Well, I'm excited to meet him. Excited was an understatement, if you're being honest. You had followed the Haddonfield killings almost religiously, trying to find some sort of motive. You'd also taken a liking to Mikael himself. What an interesting guy. Mulaney's smile returned, and she let out a relieved sigh. You were very interesting, YN. I'm glad you weren't scared. I'd be pissing bricks right now. Just as she finished speaking, Dr. Crotus pulled out an access card with with a purple stripe instead of yellow. Now, there's a few things I should say first. She turns to you, holding the card to her chest in a death grip, worry in her gaze. Mikael is dangerous. He doesn't usually react to people, but that's because he's used to all of us. He will most likely not acknowledge you, staring into space or continuing with his work without a sideways glance. Mulaney gulps, but in off chance he goes violent and attacks. You are to fall back behind the guards instantly, no questions asked. As far as we can tell, he has no ability to give mercy or even make a moral decision. You nod your head, blinking slowly. Okay, I've got it. You promise. Mulaney smiles again, although it's less genuine this time and much more scared. Here we go then. Mulaney takes one more shaky breath and then turns to scan her card. Seconds pass as the light turns from red to green. Mechanical thunk after mechanical thunk as the locks in the door disengage. At last, a hiss sound as Mulaney pushes the door open. Dr. Crotus, a guard standing to the right of the door, nods a greeting, allowing Mulaney and you to pass. There are 4 guards in total in the room, all equipped with riot shields and long poles with tasers at the ends. The room is laid like any other, just like the other cells. A bed in the back left, a desk to its right, and a dresser behind the desk. The one thing that catches you off guard, other than the obvious man behind the desk, is the mask lining the walls. Every single one, from floor to ceiling, corner to corner, all different shapes and sizes and colors. The other thing that unsettles you is the giant man at the desk. His focus settled soullessly on the mask he was working on, firm strokes of orange paint being applied to the papier-mâché craft. His hair is brown, a little long and tangled hell and back. His shoulders are broad, the blades shifting from each movement of his arm. The string of a mask wraps around the back of his head, the edge of a scar peeking over the back collar of a dark gray t-shirt. He also wore gray sweatpants to match. Mr. Myers? Milady says in a quiet voice, taking a few cautious steps towards the hulking figure. We have the new caretaker here to meet you. She's very excited to make your acquaintance, and I think she'd appreciate a gesture of greeting. I'd rather just not get anything. Mikhail ignored Milady entirely. Confidence flowed through your veins, and you take a few steps forward, passing Milady and basically looming over Mikhail's shoulder, though you didn't want to come across as intimidating. You take a step to the side to watch him work. Your mask is very nice, Mikhail. All of them are. You swear you see Mikhail stop his work for a split second, but he's moving again before you're sure. You've got a lot of skill. I've never been artsy myself. You chuckle and hold out a hand for him to shake. He's working on his mask, though. Just like, I wonder how he does it, but whatever. You didn't think he will, and he doesn't. But you did catch the gaze he flicks at it, prompting you to pull it back, satisfied enough with a passing glance. Well, I look forward to working with you. You finish, turning back to Milady. You clasp your hands and take a step towards her, a small smile on your face. I'm ready to... Her smile suddenly morphs into an expression of pure horror, and you feel the air shift beside you. Before you can even look to the standing figure beside you, the guards are shouting, panicking yowls, pushing forward to pull you towards them. Why get back? Milady cries, reaching out to grab your arm and yank you towards her. Their terror makes you scared in return, though you have no idea what's going on. The guards are forming a wall between you and Mikhail, who is standing completely motionless as his gaze settled down on you. An orange mask on his face, casting a shadow over his eyes. Patient 20, sit down! One guard shouts, but Mikhail doesn't move. He stands perfectly still, like a statue. The only sound from him being the deep, slow breaths he takes. Patient 20, sit down! The guard repeats. The two guards on the far left and right readying their tasers with an electric buzz, signifying the energy charging into a brutally high, spasm-inducing setting. As Mikhail continues to not cooperate, the guards lunge their tasers forwards, connecting them with his sides. He barely trembles, though his knees suddenly give out and he's back in his chair, his breath mildly uneven compared to before. You watch, guilt tearing through you at the sight of Mikhail, fist tightening so his knuckles are white. Move out, Dr. Crotus, the guard barks. This is over now. They back up as you two leave, casting a last glance at Mikhail, whose gaze is settled on the floor. Soon all of you are out of the room, the guards hurrying away to report to Demilla, whatever. Wait, that's it? You just leave him there? You whispered with a hand to your chest. Is he okay? Oh, he'll be alright. He's gone through much worse. And a little shock won't hurt him one bit. Milady locks the doors again. I'd like to see you try that shot and then you talk, Milady. I'd like to see you try. Waiting for the locks to engage noisily before continuing. It may seem like an overreaction, but if we don't act right away, we might not be able to save whoever he's attacking. He's like a snake, and he can strike in an instant. A snap of the neck and at the speed of light. You could have been in real danger, and we've learned not to take chances after an incident a few years back. You take a breath and attempt to soothe your dismay, staring through the window for a moment. He was still shaking, though not as violently as the aftershock. Poor guy, you mutter quietly, Mulaney seeming to hear. Let's move on, you suggest, dragging your gaze away from Mikael and back to Dr. Crotus. She nods her head and turns to the cell across from Mikael. Now, this is patient 19, Jason Voorhees. I'm sure you heard of his work at Camp Crystal Lake. You nod at Mulaney's question, leaning forwards to look through the window. He's one of the more friendly patients now, but he can still be dangerous if he's angry. He's been behaving well these last few days. I'm guessing because of his therapy sessions. Just speak quietly and move slowly, and you should be alright. Does he have guards too? You ask, half hoping he doesn't. You don't want him to be shocked like Mikael was. Mulaney pulled out her access card, shaking her head. No, he's never snapped at the new caretakers before, so we trust him. Why is he in one of those heavy-duty rooms? You ask as Mulaney swipes her card, the heavy locks disengaging loudly. He's insanely strong, and though he's never broken out of his cell in an attempt to escape, we can't take that risk. He gets antsy in the small room, used to the forest, so we have to try extra hard to keep him contained. Mulaney slips her key card back into her pocket and pushes open the door slowly. Good morning, Mr. Voorhees, Mulaney says in a calm voice, letting you step inside first. Jason is sitting at his desk just like Mikael was, gently running large fingers over the soft petal of a daisy. His masked face moves slowly to land on the two of you, wearing a gray shirt and black sweats. He tilts his head, standing, and you have to take a startled you took a startled step back at his height. He was like a human tower, a good foot taller than you or Mulaney, maybe more. You flash him a smile and hold out your hand. I'm your new caretaker, YNLN. It's nice to meet you, Jason. As you finish saying his name, Jason extends his own giant hand to envelop yours in a handshake. Now, Jason here can't speak, so he communicates with us ASL. Are you familiar? Mulaney asks, Jason pulling his hand away. You shake your head and frown. No, none. Mulaney nods her head, smiling. That's all right. We can find other ways to communicate. Mulaney nods her head, turning to Jason as he begins to sign something. As he finishes, Mulaney lets out a chuckle and shoots you an amused glance. He likes you. Mulaney spilling Jason's whatever. I can't say that word. To you, anyways. Secrets makes him let out a startled sound, taking a step back and shrieking into himself, embarrassed. You smile, feeling your face heat slightly. Wow, thank you. You beam. I like you too, Jason. You're very sweet. Jason shrinks into himself somehow further, covering his masked face with his hands. Mulaney, chuckling, places a hand on your shoulder. Let's leave him be now, she says through her laughs. He's been through enough flattery already. Yes, Jason's number one. Oh my God. Okay. I hope to see you once again. Oh, excuse me. Why did I say that? I hope to see you again soon, Jason. Have a nice day. You wave your goodbye, following Mulaney out of the room. The door is shut and locked behind you. Mulaney sets off down the hall. She passes cells 17 and 18, both of which are empty heavy-duty cells, stopping at cell 15. These are the cells in what we call the separation issue ward. Mulaney begins, key card drawn and ready once more. The patients in the cells 15 and 13 are separated from one another by a heavy-duty glass wall. They seem to be violent or unresponsive without knowing where the other is. The same goes for cells 16 and 14. So they can see each other all the time? You confirm and Mulaney nods. It's good for them. But we'll be visiting Thomas and Bubba Sawyer, twins. They were responsible for killing and... Mulaney pauses, taking a gulp. Eating anyone who got too close to their property. Thomas is a lot more hostile than Bubba, but he's also going to react to you better if we risk talking to him first. He's very overprotective of his twin. So speaking with Bubba when Thomas can't be there will make him dislike you. Melanie scans her card. This time, the door opens with a simple pop, one lock disengaging before she could twist the handle and push it open. Thomas, we have a visitor, Melanie asked before opening the door the rest of the way. Inside, the bed is pressed against the glass wall, Thomas sitting on top as Bubba worked at his desk on the other side of the glass. Thomas was huge, tall, and terrifying. He had brown hair, tangled and reaching down to his shoulders. He wore a gray bandana over to cover his mouth and nose, and his entire outfit was dark gray. Bubba, on the other side of the glass, turned to face you, cocking his head. His hair was the same brown as Thomas, though it was a little lighter, curled and a little shorter than Thomas. He wore a gray shirt and dark gray pants with some sort of mask covering his face. After looking for a moment, you put the sight together with the human articles you read. It was made of human skin. My lady seemed to send your confusion, your silent question of why did they let him wear that even here? For she answered it perfectly. It's like an emotional support type of thing for him. It's hard for him to function without it. You nodded understanding, returning your attention to Thomas. The man was glaring at you, mistrust burning in his intense brown gaze. This is Wyan Ellen, your new caretaker. She's very excited to meet you and your brother. Melanie smiles, placing a hand on your back as she speaks. You wave nervously, tense as Thomas takes you in, his gaze raking from your toes up and up until he lands his gaze on yours. Okay, he said simply, his voice deep, slightly muffled by his mask. You take a nervous step forward and extend a hand in greeting, hoping for some sort of reaction. I would wish for none. Thomas just continued to stare directly into your eyes with his angry gaze. You pull your hand away, but kept your smile strong. I hope I can be your friend. You say, stepping back to stand beside Melanie. Is it okay if I introduce myself to your brother? At the question, Thomas rocked to his feet, looming over the both of you, Melanie, who lets out a startled gasp and stumbles backwards. You stand strong, though, even though as Thomas takes a lumbering step towards you. That's all right. I can talk to him another time then. You say, forcing your face to keep steady. I'm sorry for asking. Your apology makes Thomas freeze and flicks his gaze away, moving to sit back down on his bed. Bubba, who was watching the whole thing with a curious expression, or so you assumed through his mask, turned to the papers on his desk and scribbled down something, lifting the piece of paper and pressing it to the glass. In messy lettering, you read, "Hi," and smiled, waving back. He can hear me through the glass? You ask, Milady nodding, still shaking up from Thomas' threatening actions. It's nice to meet you, Bubba. I'm Wyan Ellen, your new caretaker. You raise your voice so it's clear through the glass. Thomas let out a low growl, one that was almost cat-like in nature. You turn back to him and nod your head in an apologetic manner. Sorry, I'll leave you to be. You apologize, Melanie grabbing your arm gently and guiding you out of the room. Sorry about him. She huffs as she locks the door back up. He can be hostile when it comes to Bubba. You wave your hand, dismissing the issue. Dismissing what now? Dismissing what now? Oh my goodness. It's alright, I'll just have to try a little harder with him. You smile at Melanie and then turn to face cells 16 and 14. The other separation issues cells. Good spirit. Melanie smiles, turning with you. For these two, we can most likely visit both. They're generically docile, though Vincent, Melanie points to cell 16, can be dangerous if he thinks his brother, Beau, is in danger. Vincent may look scary, but when he's calm, he's a nice guy, and he behaves surprisingly well, despite being surprisingly timid. A quick scan of the access card, the locks popping open, Melanie leading you inside. We going outside today? A southern drawl resonated from the other side of the glass, from a man with brown hair and a sturdy build, a white t-shirt and gray sweats. He was sitting on his bed against the glass, just like Thomas had been. Vincent, the one who in the room with you, was sitting on the floor against the glass to be as close to his brother as possible. He had long black hair, reaching down past his shoulders and covering the most of an oddly smooth face. A mask, you figured, taking in his black t-shirt and gray shorts. His knees were hugged to his chest, and you could feel his gaze stuck to you. He smiled warmly, kneeling down to Vincent's level. Hi, you're Vincent, right? You asked, ignoring the brother. But as he continued to ask what was going on, Vincent didn't move. I'm your new caretaker. My name is Wyatt Ellen, and I look forward to getting to know you. You would take a hesitant step a little closer. Vincent flinching at the slight movement when you hold out your hand. Don't you lay a finger on him. You hear? Not unless you want them sliced right off. Both threats earned a quick glance from you with a calming smile, though you do pull your hand away and back up. I didn't mean to startle you. You apologize. Gaze settled back on Vincent. You're about to stand up and step backwards when Vincent unfolds, leaning up towards to scramble curiosity towards you. He tilts his head, his black hair swinging gently as he moved. Vinny, don't, Bo demands, but Vincent didn't seem to hear him as he slowly extends a hand toward your face. It's inches from touching, brushing along your hair. But Bo cuts in. Vincent, get the fuck away from her! He shouts, and Vincent jumps, pulling away and scrambling backwards to his spot beside the glass. Stop trying to trick him into trusting your sorry ass. Bo spits, a scowl on his face. Melanie lets out a sigh, shooting you an apologetic glance as you stand up and move backwards to stand beside her. Sorry, Bo isn't usually so... She shrugs and lets out another sigh. Sorry. It's alright. I'm sure they'll give me another shot. You smile at Vincent, then turn the smile to face Bo. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, Bo. You better be fucking sorry. He growls back at you, prompting you to turn and leave without another word. Melanie locks the door again with an annoyed huff and a rushed apology. It's okay, really. You are assured with a light smile, forcing a chuckle. I understand why he got angry. I'll be more careful in the future. Good. I'm glad Bo hasn't ruined your view of him. He can be a really nice guy when he's calm and happy. He must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Melanie chuckles back at you, motioning for you to follow her to the next cells and changing the subject. Now that we're finished with the joint cells, we'll be visiting the last specialist cell on this floor. The cell belonging to Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal? It's like Hannibal. And the dun 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 dun. Oh my goodness, y'all. I can't keep reading these long ass stories. Oh my god. Oh, I didn't realize how long these these chapters were. Oh my goodness. Anyways, how do y'all like it so far? Oh my goodness. I am in love. I am in absolute love, bro. Ooh. I already read this story if I haven't mentioned it, but I ain't spoiling nothing because I ain't no spoiler. Also, what do you guys think is gonna happen next? Do you think Hannibal is, gonna be calm and collective, like for a good example, your devotion / his ex-listener, or is it gonna be a bit more hostile? Let me know. Also, did y'all like the people we meet? Who's your favorite so far? Who's your favorite character that we've met so far? For me, honestly, it gotta be Vincent and Jason because to me they sound like absolute sweethearts. Absolutely sweethearts.
Hello everybody. So I just wanted to go ahead and just make this little thing to let you guys know that number one, for the playlist for this fan fiction is right over here in the corner somewhere. It'll show, I promise. And also I would like to mention that I will try and post at least 2 videos a week. It's getting a bit more difficult since marching band, football games, and then competitions and etc. Schedule's getting a little tight, especially since it's my junior year, the most important year. I gotta not fuck up. So Alright, so this is me hours later. I'm apologize because I had a pretty also tight day today, but it's okay. What I gotta say is also, just please listen to the schedule. I'm still trying to upload as much as possible. It might not be as much as I used to because that was during like the end of the school year whenever I wasn't like it. My marching band turned into like a normal concert band, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Now we're gonna be in a bit more of a mixed schedule up in here. So once in a while I'll probably post 1 to 2 videos per week. Just depends on if I can do it or not. But anyways, I do hope you guys did enjoy the story. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for amazing videos, guys. Your girl's pretty tired. I know I don't really usually record myself in this position, but I mean, do all of that bad look, smooth skin, period. period. I'll see you guys in the next future video. Next video is gonna come up as X virus, so I'm super excited to finally be reading that. I gotta know what happens. But anyways, I'll see y'all later. Bye and peace.